Good morning. This is Peter Lopresti, proud member of the Stoic team and real estate broker with Exit Strategy Realty. We're here with Peter Georgitis of Preferred Rate, as well as Hasiel Zumbado from the Stoic team to discuss recent changes in the real estate market. So, Peter, thank you so much for taking the time to spend with us to talk to us more about the huge changes that have happened in the financial market, especially regarding interest rates and mortgages that we've seen over the last few weeks. If you want to just kind of give all of our listeners a rundown, just to let them know. I know this podcast is going to sound very different because for the previous over a year, we have been talking about how interest rates have been relentlessly going up and going up. And finally, we have a little bit of good news here just in time for the holidays.
Good morning. This is Peter Georgitis from Preferred Rate, prime member of the Stoic team. So how things have turned around pretty quickly. So the good news is that the direction of the interest rates are declining, which is a positive thing. Kind of give a brief overview. Since the beginning of November, which was around the time the Federal Reserve met to discuss interest rates, if they were going to increase it, they decided in that meeting to hold steady, meaning not. They call it neutral. They didn't increase or decrease. They just left it the way it is. And what came out of that meeting was a different attitude from the bond traders, because prior to that, there was a week in October, right near the end, where I was quoting rates at like in the low sevens, and it wound up like in almost like 8.25 in a matter of a couple of weeks, because what was happening was the bond traders were anticipating that the Federal Reserve was going to increase the Fed rate by a quarter in that meeting, because the Feds all along have always been beating the drum that they were going to do so many increases during the year of 2023. And, we're coming to the tail end of the year. We're in the last quarter, and they thought November was going to be the time they're going to increase it, because that's all they've been saying. The Federal Reserve has been saying we're going to increase in a quarter additional. And anyways, so that caused the market to accelerate. And what happened afterwards, they went, oh, the bond traders go, oh, they didn't change. They didn't do anything. And numbers started coming out about unemployment was slowing down. Even though we're going to the holiday season, people are not hiring as much. And we're seeing a lot of numbers declining in manufacturing, which is a key indicator that the economy is slowing down. I truly believe that we're in a recession, because it just feels that way for me, because, you can just sense people are not happy. They're concerned about their jobs. But anyways, the numbers are communicating that inflation's declining, which it has been. You can see gasoline prices are declining, when you go out. So, but of course, you're still paying a lot at the grocery store, and those things can increase inflation. But at this point, in the last 45 days, we've seen a dramatic change from a 8.25 to all the way down to close to 7, even breaking below 7, which is a great thing. And so where's this going? So where it's going is the Feds are still holding tight to the vest, meaning they're still not communicating, all right, we're going to start cutting. The key word here is cutting. If they stay neutral, the bond traders will be happy. Everyone will be happy, because they'll know that eventually they're going to start to cut. I still feel like there's going to be one more increase, because, for some reason, they feel that if they said it, they have to fulfill that. They have to apply that to the system. I think the system is already overbeared. We've had 11 increases since March of 2022, historic increases, has never happened before. But of course, now they're beating their chest saying, all we've done is, things, because inflation is the biggest enemy to the economy, and we have to control it. And they're beating their chest. But the unfortunate thing is, there are always consequences. If you go to such extreme, there's consequences to everything. But I've always said in our podcast that if they're going to do this, then do it right, kill it off, and then eventually we can start from scratch and build something strong in the future. And that's what you're always looking for, is hope. So yes, Peter, the rates are down. there's more positive sense. Again, that doubt is in the marketplace because the Feds have communicated that, but right now the bond traders are being more aggressive than they have in the past, thinking that the end is coming. Now, they're predicting that rates are going to be in the low sevens. I think in 2024 we're going to see the sixes. I don't think we're going to see a really dramatic change or cuts until the meetings in May and June. But again, we always talk about negative stuff. We also have to talk about the positive, and this is very positive news.
Excellent. Thank you, Peter, so much for that update. It's like I said, I don't pay too much attention to the reasons about why the interest rates are coming down. But when I see them coming down for 5 weeks in a row, it makes me feel a lot better about the overall economy. I know we've had in the past clients who, when they started their search, they could qualify for a very nice home. The interest rates started going up, and these poor people, they weren't able to, they got priced out of the homes that they were originally looking for. Now with interest rates coming down, it's kind of nice to see, let's say someone who we pre-approved back when interest rates were over 8. Now that interest rates are coming down, now all of a sudden that person can afford more home. They can afford a more expensive home. And most importantly, their monthly payment is going to be lower as well. And of course, a lot of people have talked about marry the house and date the rate. But still, you still have to qualify to be able to even get into the house. And unfortunately, with interest rates as high as they were, we had an issue with that with several of our clients. And so I'm just, any type of a win for our clients, I'm always very happy to go ahead and introduce and let everyone know about. Speaking of another huge win for our clients, we have here Hasiel Zumbalo. He's been working with us at the Stoic team. He's been basically working with our community outreach and being able to talk to members of the community. I know that a pain point in the past for people who pay their taxes with ITIN as opposed to Social Security, in the past, we would have to, those clients would have to put 20 or up to 30% down to be able to buy a beautiful single family home. Whereas people who paid with Social Security numbers, they had access to FHA and other such products that allowed people to get their foot onto the ownership ladder with only 3.5% down. Peter, I know that you have been, since this has been a very loud and clear feedback from our clients and the people that we serve, that you've been working extremely hard, looking and creating new opportunities for our clients. So if you wanted to go ahead and talk to us a little bit about that, I know we'd love to hear about that.
Yes, Peter. So we do meet a lot of people who have ITINs, and you're right. There are programs, but the down payment was pretty substantial, which caused them not to feel that they were qualified to purchase something at this point. So right now we do have a program with 3.5% down. That will allow someone to buy a single family home with having ITIN, as long as they've filed with the IRS or they have a letter. The IRS knows that people use ITIN and they accept that, and as long as they paid taxes on that number, they should be able to be part of this program. The benefit of the program is that it is a very forgiving program, meaning that if you have no scores, you're able to provide documentation of other credits like utility bills. But what's really critical that drives this process is your rent. If you're renting currently and you're paying by check or you pay, auto debit, that will benefit you a lot. Unless, unfortunately, if you're paying cash, that will hinder you. So, but again, if we show proof that you took the money out one day from the bank and you made it, took cash out, say your rent was $500 and you took out $500 consistently out of your account on the 29th of each month, right before the first, and you paid your rent, and you're on the other side is your seller or the person that you're renting from, it has proof that he deposit that money, that we can work those things out. But not to discourage anybody, the good news is that people have the opportunities that they didn't have previously with this program.
I really like the way that you said that this program takes into consideration that if you've been making on time rent payments, because sometimes it's so disheartening for me to see that we're working with a client, they're a great client. Let's say they've been paying $2,000 a month in rent and they've been doing that on time for 10 years, and that doesn't seem to help them at all when it comes time to buy a home. So it's really nice that this program looks like it's looking at the applicants as a whole. It's really looking to try to accommodate as many people as possible in different situations. And of course, with only 3.5% down payment, it's affordable. It's attainable for almost anyone. We work with rentals as well. Most landlords ask for the first month, the last month, and an entire month of security deposit. We're talking about 3 months rent basically just to get into an apartment. In my opinion, especially with these amazing IDA grants that we have available to our clients, might as well take those 3 months and buy something and own it forever. And again, of course, like we always like to talk about that, depending on when you close, you don't have to pay your mortgage for the first 1 or 2 months of when you move into your new home. So it's, it really is this low down payment is going to allow people who want to become homeowners but weren't able to because they didn't have the full 20 or 30% down, or they didn't have a social security, they only had an ITIN. This is just, I think that this program is going to open the door to home ownership to so many first-time home buyers. And I really, on behalf of the Stoic team and on behalf of really the entire Latino community, Peter, we really appreciate you going out there hunting for these programs and creating these partnerships with these other institutions to allow us to provide these opportunities for our clients. And that's why, I always like to tell everyone that it's hard for us to explain everything that we can do for you. That's why our goal of when we have our initial meeting for your pre-approval is to ask you a million different questions, because we're going to try to pre-approve you a million different ways, because we want to make sure that we're qualifying you for the best product for your needs. And this is just an amazing, powerful tool. Again, like I said, though, the thing that I love about working with you, Peter, is, just because you add this, it's not like you've stopped any of the amazing work that you've been doing. This is just another tool to keep in our toolbox to help our clients.
Well, the truth be told, one of the things that are good about having a good working relationship with people is that you make each other better. You made me much better, encouraging. We've talked about our clients. Our clients are number one to us, and we sincerely believe that we should be able to help everybody, or give them a sense of purpose or direction of how they can eventually accomplish a goal if they really want to purchase something, either be a condo, a single family home, or a multiple unit, 2, 3, and 4 unit that can bring wealth to them for the future. They can build off a 2 unit and buy another 3 unit. So there's opportunities out there, and I truly believe that we have advised people, and the happiness of them closing on a house that they never thought, that's worth all the hard work.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Peter. So we've talked about declining interest rates, which means that your monthly payment is going to be less. In fact, if you bought a few months ago and you see the interest rates going down, keep us in mind. Peter's able to do a refinance for you, especially if we've already worked with you once. He already has your file. He already has, a good chunk of information of where to start. I own several buildings in the city of Chicago, and so Peter, he does all of my real estate financing for me. And so I always love working with Peter because, I buy a place, and then a few years later we refinance, and then, a few years later we'll refinance again. Basically, Peter is an amazing asset to help you grow along the way as you get more and more equity in your properties, and hopefully you acquire more and more properties over the year. One last thing, though, I want to talk about before we ended this is that, introducing the 3.5% down payment program for ITIN people. Absolutely amazing, Peter. From my understanding, I haven't heard of anyone else offering this product. Everyone else, best case scenario is 10% down for ITIN. So again, amazing, powerful tool that you're introducing today for the Stoic team. Lastly, though, this is something that's going to impact everyone, not just the Stoic team, is the increase in the loan limits, from my understanding. Perhaps you can explain to people what this means.
So every year, we're heading to 2024. And so before January 1st of each year, let's talk about conventional, which is made up of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. They increase their loan limits. It depends on where they sense where values of homes are going. And so they have increased in the last few years. And so, as an example, today on a single family home for a conventional loan, your max loan amount is 726, 200 before you get to what's called jumbo. And the reason why it's great that you're doing a conforming loan in that price range or that loan amount is because it helps you get a better rate. So they have increased it from 726, 200 to 766, 550, which is pretty substantial, a $40,000 increase roughly. And then also 2, 3, and 4 units. So on a 4 unit, you can purchase, you can have a mortgage of $1.474 million and put down only 5% down. So it's amazing that where these prices have gone, and meaning the loan amounts have gone. So it's very interesting. And also, as we always talked about, there's three type of loans. Conventional, VA and conventional uses the same kind of limits. Not with VA, there's really no limit. You can do a single family home over $1 million if you wanted to with no money down, which is a great program. And then you have FHA, which they also have increased in our area to 498, almost to 500. I was hoping to see it closer to like over 500,000 for a single family home or a condo or a townhome. But again, FHA always lags behind and they're very conservative. But also what's really great on a 3 or 4 unit, on a 4 unit, you can get a loan amount of close to $1 million, or 958,350. So those are good signs that the government is projecting things are going to be stronger in the upcoming year, and that's why they had the increase. But one thing before we leave, Peter, we talk about the interest rates, and one of my concerns, we don't want history to repeat itself. Remember, in 22 and most of all of 23, people were waiting on the sidelines thinking, I'll wait until the rates come. And so some of these people will feel victorious that they waited long enough, and maybe they should wait longer. But there's another side of the ledger that we really should express, is because of inventory is not high. People are still holding on to their old interest rates. They're not willing to list their homes. So the inventory is low, which is causing a demand and rising prices of homes. So don't wait on the sidelines. The good news, the rates are down. It benefits you to, maybe you weren't qualified at 8%, but now that the rates are in the sevens, you qualified. That's a good thing. But remember, don't wait, because when you waited in 2022, you lost an opportunity. So take advantage of the market right now. This is a good time of the year. If you're renting, start the new year with a new house. Don't fall into that trap of waiting for the rates to drop to a point where you feel comfortable. If you qualify, you should move forward.
And let me also explain this to people as well, is that as the rates fall, people who have been waiting to get out of their house are now going to be able to move up to the bigger house. In the case of, let's say, a young family that's adding to their family, or let's say empty nesters, and you have some people wanting to sell their big mansion in the suburbs and buy something a little more central in the city. This type of situation, when the interest rate starts coming down, it motivates sellers and buyers. And that's a huge issue and a very positive thing for us, specifically because we do not have enough inventory. A great example of this is that we have, but basically, what I was saying, though, is that if you look at the rental numbers and the retail numbers, we can actually see that with existing inventory, we have decreased. All right, perfect. All right, basically what I'm going to say here, Hasiel, is I'm going to say that the interest rates going down is going to create more inventory because people are going to leave their houses that they felt stuck in because they're comparing the interest rate they have now to what they're going to be able to get. Additionally, equity has gone up so much that there's a lot of people living in mansions in the suburbs that are selling their mansions and coming into the city and buying small condos cash. And I've been seeing a lot of that too. So here, let's go ahead and just start this up again. So perfect. So we'll go. Thank you, Peter, for explaining how those interest rates really are impacting the market. Additionally, how you mentioned that we are inventory limited, I wanted to bring up something very specific in that a lot of people are talking about that home sales overall are down 30% from where they were a year ago. The interesting thing of that statistic is it's not because of a lack of desire. There's the reason why there is 30% fewer transactions is because there's actually 40% fewer homes than there were last year. So essentially what we're seeing is that the number of transactions is decreasing not by demand, but decreasing because of inventory. The most interesting detail that I have found on the internet about this is from the New Home Builders, the Association of America. They have shown the numbers that new homes, they have actually sold 50% more new homes this year than they had in previous years, especially during the pandemic. And what that shows me is that if new homes are selling at 50% quicker than they were before, but we have a 40% decrease in inventory and we're seeing 30% fewer transactions, it literally just means that the people are not able to purchase the homes that they want where they want. New home sales, I mean, essentially this just means that there's a bunch of people waiting for inventory to magically pop up out of nowhere. And obviously we all know, a new home is generally more expensive than a home that is being resold. So we're seeing people paying premiums just to be able to get the space that they need for their families. And so, like I said, right now it's pent up in the in the new builds, but unfortunately, with the pandemic and the delays in construction, the new build home market is not going to produce as many homes as they had in the past, and they're not producing as many as they thought they would. And most importantly, even if they do ramp up production, they're not going to be able to make up for the lost years of the pandemic when they should have been building homes, but because of supply chain issues, they weren't able to. So really, for so many different ways, the interest rates coming down, in my opinion, it's going to increase inventory. So that, again, if you're a buyer, be qualified now, have your search up now, be pre-approved now, so that when this inventory that you have been waiting years for to hit the market finally does, as the interest rates start coming down, you're in a position to go ahead and buy something that you like. Because again, we have people who have money, people who are interested in purchasing, but it's been the lack of inventory that's been driving them away. And like I said, with the 5 continuous weeks of rate declines, I'm hoping this is going to really spur sellers to go ahead and get their properties back out there. I know that I think the last thing that we want to talk about is talk to Hasiel. I know that we are a dual language program, so we want to end our segment with some Spanish language conversation with Hasiel, and we're just going to talk a little bit about an upcoming event that we have at the Consulate of El Salvador on the northwest side, located at 8635 Bryn Mawr, I believe, right close to the O'Hare, the Cumberland Blue Line stop. Let's go ahead and switch to Spanish, though, and talk to Hasiel a little bit about this program and this event that he has spent, I know, a lot of time getting the educational materials ready for.
Hola, bueno, yo soy Hazel Zumbado, yo trabajo para The Stoic Team en la parte de marketing y gestión de redes sociales. Y como Peter estaba mencionando, este viernes 8 de diciembre, de 10 a.m. a 12 mediodía, tenemos un evento en el Consulado de El Salvador, aquí en Chicago, donde vamos a hablar sobre distintos temas de bienes raíces, todo esto que hemos estado hablando en el podcast, lo vamos a comentar en este evento, de diferentes programas que tenemos. Vamos a hablar de una guía para los compradores iniciales de vivienda, también programas como el house hacking, eso del 5% down, del IT. Entonces quedan cordialmente invitados a participar de este evento. La entrada es gratuita y no tienen que inscribirse. En nuestras redes sociales pueden encontrar más información, ¿verdad? Sobre, bueno, esta información que les estoy dando y la dirección y todo. Y sí, quedan cordialmente invitados a participar de este evento.
Perfecto, muchas gracias, Hasiel. Adicionalmente, le quiero recordar A los que asistan a este evento, que es este viernes de 10 de la mañana a mediodía, le vamos a entregar un crédito de $500 al cierre. Y ese crédito viene directamente del bolsillo de nosotros. Se puede combinar con cualquier otro tipo de incentivo que está teniendo el gobierno o de otros diferentes bancos. Se puede combinar con AIRA, se puede combinar con FHA. Estos $500 son encima de cualquier otro tipo de beneficio que son estándares que cualquier otra persona le puede conseguir por usted. Entonces, de verdad, le queremos a invitar a la comunidad a venir a vernos este viernes, 10 de la mañana, en el Consulado de El Salvador en Chicago. Estamos regalando $500 de crédito para cada persona que asiste al entrenamiento y también le estamos regalando un libro de información de cómo poder invertir y adquirir su primer hogar. Entonces, por favor, nos vemos este viernes y de verdad fue un gran placer y de verdad un honor poder hablar a ustedes esta vez con el equipo Stoico y siempre estamos aquí para ayudarles en su próxima transacción de bienes raíces.
Bueno, muchísimas gracias por el espacio y de verdad esperamos verlos ahí. Yo sé que va a ser de mucha ayuda para aquellas personas que están buscando invertir en bienes raíces, que más que todo para la comunidad latinoamericana, ¿verdad? Y sí, los esperamos ahí.
Perfect. Muchas gracias, Haciel. Thank you very much, Haciel. We really appreciate all the work that you do for us. And for all of you English-only speakers, the non-Hispanoparlantes, we want to invite everyone to the Consulate of El Salvador. We are giving a presentation to explain to people how to become first-time home buyers, or if you're interested in investing in either the United States or El Salvador, we're going to have amazing and innovative programs that are available for you. Again, the event is free to attend. A beautiful, beautiful location right next to the to the forest preserve over there. And most importantly, like I said, we're giving out $500 credits. And this is, unlike all the other things that you see where it says cannot be combined, cannot be used. This $500 credit is coming from us. It's coming from the Stoic team, which means that you can still get your seller credits. You can still get any type of government incentives. This is just something that's going to be on top of all the amazing other things that Peter G is able to find for you that's operating out there. Peter, anything you want to add before we end the call?
No, I appreciate the time, and things are exciting. I know we were bears of bad news for the last year and a half, but I'm so happy that we're talking about positive, looking forward things, which is a good thing.
All right. Well, everyone, have a happy holiday, and I hope that we get to see you this Friday. This is Peter Lopresti with the Stoic team, broker at Exit Strategy Realty.
Peter Georgitzis, preferred rate.
Haciel Zumbado, the Stoic team.
Wishing everyone happy holidays. Goodbye.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See ya.